Hello, everyone. Happy 4th of July. Wednesday's trading was obviously a holiday shortened session. I'm not sure why we don't have Thursday off and a holiday shortened session on Friday, but I mean, I understand, but whatever. And it's not supposed to make sense. Still, the NASDAQ did rally on the session up 0.30%. Volume was extremely lower, so I would take that in this new world that we live in as today was extremely bullish. That's heavy sarcasm in case you do not know. Still, today is basically a do nothing day. NASDAQ still trending above the 50-day moving average, and that is why it's in a neutral mode. The Russell 2000 also up on the day, 0.17%. The relative strength line is extremely strong. It is also in a neutral mode, very, very close to being under a buy signal. A close at 1,000 will do that. I'm not sure, though, if this index alone will switch the model. We may have a bifurcated model going into the near-term future as the Dow Jones Industrial Average continues to trend below the 50-day moving average and remains under a sell signal, unable to get above this line. Still, the intraday action overall looks good for this index. S&P 500 also having trouble getting above, but still intraday, even though that there's a lot of dojis on the NASDAQ and a lot of dojis showing up in the New York Stock Exchange and Russell 2000, it's really not showing up in the S&P 500 and Dow Jones Industrial Average, and it kind of gives it almost like a bullish feel. Still, the 50-day moving average is acting as tough resistance, so we'll see what goes on at that level in the upcoming sessions. There are no shorts, there are no longs, there are no full covers, no partial covers, no full sells. I have 3 partial sells, and we'll go over those really quick. They're really simple. MHGC, simple as that. It's closing below the 20-day moving average for the first time since the long signal. Even though volume's extremely small, that's still a 25% sell signal. ADUS is also closing below the 20-day moving average again, this time with the 10-day and 5-day went to cross below it. Normally, this would not be a partial sell, as normally we need to wait after the first eclipse of a 20-day moving average, the low day of that signal. Still, the tail is pretty big, and overall the action hasn't been great since. So the low day is, or the close is going to be used of 1823 on that day. So close at 1810 is a good signal for me to take more of the gains off the table, especially with the little rollover that we have going on here on a short term. Some biotech stocks have not been acting well. Some others have been acting well. For instance, NAVB, one that we were short, gave us a full cover signal 2 days ago. So it's kind of a mixed market out there, but still, since we are under a sell and neutral signal, I'd rather play it safe until, I can get some clear, obvious leadership again, in the biotech stocks, and that's just not really showing up right now. Overall, on an extremely bullish basis. Most stocks are just creating bases, and that's good. And speaking of that, also then there is also a partial sell signal in OSTK. You can make it a full sell signal because this is an ugly break. And if you look at an IBD daily graphs chart of it, you can see that today's price action, negative 12%, is an extremely ugly break back into the base. And if I expanded this price graph like all the way down the bottom, you could see how of an abnormal move it is. But still, a close at 26.15 is above the new final cut loss level to me if everything was going to go to shit, which would be 24.81, 25.44. So by closing above 25.44, it is not going to be a full sell. And the other biggest, most obvious reason is not only is it holding that support level, and let me draw a line, and I can actually draw quite a few of these lines. You have this support level here, and then you also have this support level here, but it's also holding the most important support level, and that's the 50-day moving average. So as you can see, this support level right here with right around where the entry signal is, which is right here, you can see that that's lining up with the lows of that recent pullback. So the 50-day moving average, if that isn't your final cut loss level, these two lines better be, because OSTK with that previous chart pattern should not be rolling lower. That'll be a signal that the market is extremely weak overall, because just something like that should not happen. And now just one last thing, the stocks that look good tonight, LVNTA look good, $86 stock. The earnings and sales, nothing to really write home about, but they're supposed to turn around next year. XOOM, nice, extremely low volume breakout today from a cup with handle. Here is your cup, and there is your handle. There is your breakout on no volume. Weekly chart also confirming the no volume breakout. And then the best stock tonight, CMG, legitimate breakout, has had multiple pocket pivot point buy signals along the way off the November lows, as you can see here. 2 in December, 1 in February, 2 in April, or 3 in April, 1 in June, and 1 at the end of June, and now a breakout to a new highs on a 2-day. Actually, on a weekly, it's easier to see. Let's do arithmetic chart on a weekly. You can see that this is a giant cup and handle, and on a daily chart, it's a little bit more visible. If I go a little bit longer term, big cup, long handle. What's the problem with this cup with handle? Look at the volume. Remember, you're supposed to see lower volume on the left side and huge volume on the right side on the up weeks, not huge volume on the left side, low volume on the right side. You can have huge volume on the left side if you've got huge volume on the right side. And in this market, probably the lower the volume, the better. And here's a monthly chart, once again, showing that the two big bars are the red, and it's moving up the right side with no volume. And that's the kind of longs you have to take. So CMG on a price action alone basis is a new long. It wouldn't be considered a huge CanSlim growth winner right now because the sales and earnings aren't over 20%. But still, this is clearly a leading stock, priced at $384. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful 4th of July.